Every time a new Power spin-off is announced, fans always ask the same question: who's coming back? That question has never been more important than now, with Legacy Season 1 on the horizon. This series promises to carry forward the torch of Ghost, and that means the return of some of the most unforgettable characters. Some faces are almost guaranteed, while others remain uncertain. But when it comes to the foundation of the story, one name stands above the rest. Tariq St. is the beating heart of the Power universe after his father James Ghost St. Patrick's fall. His journey from a young boy living under his father's shadow to becoming a central player in the drug game has been one of the most dramatic evolutions we've ever seen on television. Tariq is not just Ghost's son anymore. He has carved out his own identity, one full of ambition, strategy, and betrayal. By the end of Power Book 2, Ghost, it's clear that Tariq is no longer learning the game. He is the game. And that is exactly why his return in Legacy Season 1 isn't just likely, it's inevitable. In the world of Power, every show has circled around the theme of family, survival, and ambition. Tariq embodies all three. He has inherited his father's intelligence, but he also carries the flaws that make him human: impatience, trust issues, and the constant pull between doing right and doing wrong. Viewers have watched him make impossible choices, sacrificing friends, manipulating allies, and even turning on people he once loved in order to survive. Legacy can't exist without Tariq because his name carries the weight of Ghost's empire. If Ghost built the foundation, Tariq is the one trying to expand it into the future. One of the reasons Tariq's return is so powerful is because his story has always been about more than just survival. It's been about transformation. At first, he was seen as a rebellious son, angry at his father and trying to escape his shadow. But as time passed, he became the very thing he once hated. He didn't just inherit Ghost's enemies. He inherited his drive, his ambition, and his vision for power. Fans know Tariq has unfinished business, and that's the fuel for Legacy Season 1. His enemies are still out there, his allies are shaky at best, and his family ties are broken in ways that could explode at any moment. Beyond just being a character, Tariq represents the idea of legacy itself. Ghost always dreamed of leaving behind a name and an empire that would outlive him. Tariq may have resisted that dream in the beginning, but now he is the one carrying it forward, whether he wants to or not. His presence in Legacy Season 1 guarantees that the story will not just be about drugs and power, but about what it truly means to live up to a legacy, especially one built on lies, betrayal, and blood. If Tariq St. is the brain of the operation, then Braden Weston is the soul that keeps things moving. On the surface, Braden looks like he doesn't belong in this world at all. He comes from wealth, privilege, and a family that has every advantage most people in the Power universe could only dream of. But that's what makes his journey so fascinating. Instead of choosing the easy life laid out for him, Braden chose chaos, danger, and ambition. He chose to stand by Tariq, and that decision is the very reason he has become one of the most important characters in the entire story. Braden is more than just a sidekick. He's the perfect balance to Tariq's cold, strategic nature. Where Tariq is calculating and guarded, Braden is charismatic and bold. He brings a sense of humor and energy that makes the darkest parts of the story more human. But don't let that charm fool you. Over time, Braden has shown he's just as capable of making ruthless choices as Tariq. His loyalty to Tariq has pulled him deeper into the game than even he expected. And in Legacy Season 1, that loyalty is set to be tested more than ever. What makes Braden's character unique is his double life. On one hand, he is a product of his family's wealth. His father wants him to focus on business, politics, and living the perfect, polished lifestyle of a Weston. On the other hand, Braden thrives in the streets. He loves the power, the risk, and the respect that comes with the game. It's not just that he wants to help Tariq, he genuinely enjoys the life he's building outside his family's shadow. Legacy Season 1 will likely explore this tension even more. showing us whether Braden can continue balancing these two worlds or if one will finally consume him. Another reason Braden's return is crucial is because he represents the bond of friendship in a universe where loyalty is always temporary. Tariq has been betrayed by so many people, Effie, his own family, and even those he trusted in business. But Braden has remained solid. He has stood by Tariq when it would have been easier to walk away. He has risked his future, his family's reputation, and even his freedom to prove that he's not just another rich kid pretending to play gangster. That loyalty has made Braden a fan favorite, and it makes his story one of the most unpredictable in Legacy. But here's where it gets interesting. Loyalty in the Power universe never comes without consequences. In the past, we've seen loyal friends and partners either destroyed or forced to turn on each other. Ghost and Tommy's brotherhood eventually collapsed. Kanan and Ghost's history ended in betrayal. Even alliances within the Tejada family crumble under the weight of ambition. So while Braden and Tariq's bond is strong now, Legacy Season 1 may put them on a collision course. Will Braden remain Tariq's ride or die, or will he eventually carve out his own empire? That's the question that could define the next chapter of his journey. There's also the matter of Braden's growth as a leader. He has always been seen as Tariq's partner, but never truly equal. He's the one cracking jokes, lightening the mood, and following Tariq's lead. But in Ghost, we saw glimpses of Braden stepping up, taking charge, and making moves on his own. He has the ambition and the drive to become more than just the guy standing behind Tariq. In Legacy, it's very possible we'll see Braden break away and show the world he's capable of running things in his own right. That potential shift in power could be one of the most explosive storylines of the season. What makes Braden essential to Legacy isn't just his friendship with Tariq, it's what he represents thematically. He's the outsider who chose the game not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He had options, wealth, and a future already secured, but he rejected all of that to chase power and adrenaline. He shows that the drug game doesn't just pull in people who are desperate, it pulls in people who crave more than the ordinary. Braden proves that ambition isn't limited by background, and in Legacy, that ambition could finally cost him everything. Fans are expecting Braden to be back because his story is unfinished. His family ties, his growing taste for power, and his unshakable loyalty to Tariq are threads that can't be left hanging. Whether he continues to be the loyal partner, rises to equal power, or finds himself in conflict with Tariq, one thing is certain: Brayden Weston's return will shape the core of Legacy Season 1. Without him, the story feels incomplete because Tariq may be the mastermind, but Braden is the spark that keeps the fire alive. Monet Tejada has always been a force of nature in the Power universe. She is not the type of character who simply survives. She dominates, manipulates, and bends every situation to her advantage. From the very first moment she appeared in Power Book 2, Ghost, it was clear that Monet was not just another supporting character. She was a queenpin, a mother, and a strategist all wrapped into one. Her return in Legacy Season 1 feels almost inevitable because her story is not finished. In fact, it may be only just beginning. The thing that makes Monet unique is her dual role as both a family matriarch and a ruthless boss. Every decision she makes is tied to survival, not just for herself but for her children Diana, Drew, and Kane. She runs the Tejada family with an iron grip, often treating them like soldiers rather than sons and daughters. But beneath that cold exterior, there is a complexity that fans cannot ignore. She is constantly torn between protecting her children and controlling them, between letting them grow and keeping them under her command. That tension has fueled some of the most powerful storylines in Ghost, and it is guaranteed to carry over into Legacy. Monet's importance also lies in how she represents the struggles of women in power within this brutal world. Where Ghost built his empire with charm and strategy, and Tommy survived with raw violence and loyalty, Monet had to navigate as both a woman and a leader. She had to command respect from dangerous men, protect her children from the game's dangers, and carve out her place in an environment designed to crush anyone who hesitated. That strength, combined with her sharp intelligence, has made her one of the most memorable characters in the series. To leave her out of Legacy would not only feel incomplete, it would erase a key pillar of the Power Saga. But here's where things get more interesting. Monet's survival has always come with a price. She has lied, manipulated, and betrayed people closest to her in order to stay ahead. We've seen her sacrifice relationships, hide truths from her family, and even manipulate her children into making decisions that serve her greater plan. In many ways, Monet is the mirror image of Ghost himself, someone who wants power and family at the same time, but cannot hold on to both without breaking something along the way. That duality is what makes her story so unpredictable. Fans never quite know whether to root for her, fear her, or hate her. And that emotional complexity is exactly why she needs to return in Legacy. If Monet does return, one of the biggest questions will be how her relationship with Tariq evolves. In Ghost, the two often clashed, as both are natural leaders unwilling to play second to anyone else, yet at the same time, they need each other. Tariq has the brains, Monet has the network, and together they can build something bigger than either of them could alone. But alliances in the Power universe rarely last forever. The seeds of rivalry between Monet and Tariq have already been planted, and Legacy could be the place where those seeds finally grow into open conflict. Imagine a season where Monet and Tariq are forced to work together while secretly plotting against each other. That tension alone could carry the story. Monet's return also raises the stakes for the Tejada family itself. Her children Diana, Drew, and Kane are all caught between loyalty to their mother and their own ambitions. Without Monet, their paths might scatter, leading to chaos and weakness. But with Monet, there is order, even if it comes through fear and control. She is the glue holding the family together, but she is also the chain keeping them from breaking free. This dynamic is right for Legacy, where the next generation of power characters is expected to rise. Will Monet step aside and let her children take control, or will she tighten her grip even harder? That question could drive some of the most dramatic storylines of the season. On a deeper level, Monet represents the cost of survival in the Power universe. Unlike Brayden, who chose the game, or Tariq, who inherited it, Monet has lived her entire life in it. She didn't have the luxury of choice. The game was always her reality. That makes her perspective different, more hardened, and less forgiving. She understands that in this world, mercy is weakness and hesitation is death. It's this worldview that often puts her at odds with characters who still dream of escaping or finding a different life. In Legacy, Monet's presence could serve as a reminder that once you are in the game, there is no way out. Not really. Finally, Monet's return isn't just about her own survival or her family's future, it's about Legacy itself. Her entire existence has been about ensuring her family name carries power, respect, and fear. In many ways, she is the female counterpart to Ghost, building an empire not just for herself, but for those who come after her. That theme of passing power to the next generation is exactly what Legacy is built on, and Monet is one of the clearest embodiments of that idea. For all of these reasons, Monet Tejada's return in Legacy Season 1 isn't just likely, it's necessary. She is too important, too complex, and too unfinished to be left behind. Whether she comes back as Tariq's ally, his rival, or something in between, one thing is certain. If Monet is part of Legacy, the stakes will be higher, the family drama will be sharper, and the battles for power will be even more ruthless. Diana and Drew Tejada are two of the most fascinating characters in the Power universe because they sit at the crossroads of loyalty, ambition, and survival, unlike Monet, who has built her life around power, or Tariq, who was forced to grow into it. Diana and Drew are still trying to figure out what their place in this dangerous world actually is. That's what makes their return in Legacy Season 1 so important. They are not just pieces on Monet's chessboard anymore, they are emerging players with their own dreams, flaws, and conflicts. Let's start with Diana. She has always been the sharpest thinker among the Tejada siblings, but she often hides it under obedience. For so long, she played the role of the dutiful daughter, following Monet's commands even when it meant suppressing her own desires. But beneath that quiet exterior, Diana has been learning, watching, and waiting. In Ghost, we saw her slowly begin to push back, challenging Monet's control and demanding her own space in the family's empire. Her return in Legacy is not just likely, it's necessary, because Diana represents the next stage of the Tejada family's evolution. She is the one most likely to break free from Monet's shadow and forge her own path. Diana's importance also lies in her ability to adapt. While Cain rules with violence and Drew struggles with identity, Diana uses intelligence and strategy. She's not the loudest or the most intimidating, but she is often the one pulling the strings behind the scenes. In Legacy, this quality could make her one of the most dangerous players in the game. She has the patience and vision to outthink her enemies, and with Monet's grip weakening, Diana may finally step into the leadership role she's been preparing for all along. Then there's Drew. His story is equally compelling, but for different reasons. Drew has always been the quiet storm of the family, artistic, sensitive, and thoughtful, yet trapped in a world that demands violence, dominance, and constant toughness. He is torn between who he really is and who his family needs him to be. This internal conflict has made Drew one of the most relatable characters in the series. Unlike Cain, who thrives on the chaos, Drew doesn't truly want this life, but he knows he has no choice but to play the role assigned to him. His return in Legacy would explore that tension even further. How long can Drew live a life that goes against his true self before something breaks? What makes Diana and Drew so interesting together is the bond they share. They are not just siblings, they are allies in a family that constantly tests their loyalty. Both of them know what it's like to live under Monet's suffocating control, and both of them have been forced to choose between their own happiness and their family's survival. This shared struggle has created moments of solidarity between them, but also tension. In Legacy, that bond could be tested in ways we haven't seen before. Will Diana and Drew stick together as their mother's empire unravels, or will ambition and betrayal drive a wedge between them? Thematically, Diana and Drew represent the cost of being born into the game, and like Tariq, who chose his path after fighting against it, or Brayden, who stepped into it willingly, Diana and Drew never had a choice. From the day they were born, they were tied to the drug game through their mother and brother. Their return in Legacy forces us to ask a powerful question. What does it mean to inherit an empire you never asked for? Do you embrace it, reshape it, or try to escape it altogether? Fans are particularly eager to see Diana return because of her complex relationship with Tariq. Their connection has always been a mix of trust, attraction, and manipulation. Tariq sees in Diana someone who understands him, someone who can match his intelligence and ambition. But at the same time, their loyalty to their own families has always kept them apart. In Legacy, this relationship could finally come to the forefront. Will they become allies, lovers, or rivals? That uncertainty makes Diana's presence in the new series even more exciting. Drew's role, meanwhile, could focus on identity and independence. In the past, he has struggled with balancing his personal life, his sexuality, his relationships with the violent world his family operates in. Legacy could give Drew the chance to explore who he is beyond the Tejada name, or it could push him deeper into a role he doesn't truly want. Either way, his return ensures that the emotional weight of the Tejada family's story isn't lost. Both Diana and Drew also serve as reminders of the human cost of power. For Monet, everything is about control. For Cain, it's about dominance. But for Diana and Drew, it's about survival in a world that doesn't allow them to be who they really are. They show us the cracks in the family's armor, the pain behind the power. Without them, the Tejada story would feel incomplete because they are the ones who carry its emotional depth. In the end, Diana Andrews' return in Legacy Season 1 is about more than just continuing their story. It's about showing the audience the next generation of leaders, thinkers, and survivors. They are not background characters anymore. They are the future of the Tejada name. Whether they rise together, clash against each other, or fall victim to the same betrayals that destroyed those before them, one thing is certain: their presence will shape the direction of the entire series.